Okay, so for today, I decided to create a content-based playlist, and I had heard about eLink as a curating device, so I wanted to try that as well. This is something that I was really worried about, and really worried about in my eighth grade science class, which is really tied very closely towards progressing through a textbook. And so I was pressed to how do I provide choice and student agency in this manner. So I took an existing lesson that I do. Normally, I would do the experiment 3.2 and have everybody do the experiment, and then we do some reading, and then we do some talking about it, and then I might add some of these videos just for extensions and for fun. So I went ahead and decided to sort of create this. Hold on a second. I'm just playing around with hide cursor. I don't know. I'm trying to get. There we go. These different options. Anyway, just playing with the technology here. So here you have on my page a photograph. I tried to come up with a really engaging photograph that would apply the concept of density, that might be intriguing towards what students might want. So I chose this explaining about how ballast water and air pressure causes submarines to rise or float. And so then in my instructions, they have to choose at least one, but not more than two of the activities below. So I wanted to make sure that I set reasonable time frames, and each of these activities I'm estimating is going to take between 20 to 30 minutes. So they can go ahead and watch this video. I went ahead and created a head puzzle video of an existing video and embedded some, questions having to do with that. I really kind of actually like the way that video came out. It's the first time I'd used Ed Puzzle, and I really liked it. Normally, I probably would be inclined to create my own video though, because the way that this textbook goes, this content is very specific and can sometimes be pretty narrow. And so one of the challenges is going out and finding other resources can sometimes be more in depth or more complex than I would want. But this was a pretty decent one. Then I went ahead and had a little thing here where they would do this experiment, and I added a piece where they're going to do a little bit of reading and estimated this can take about 30 minutes. And then just as a third option, I found an online article that was not bad, and then they would also read a section of the textbook and take notes. And then I included these two bonuses. This is a bonus that we do sometimes as a challenge activity, but if I'm in an online, an experience, I don't know if I would do this or not. It's pretty involved, but it is kind of fun. So I went ahead and put that video in there. Just it poses a really challenging problem that they have to use density to kind of explain why ice melts faster in fresh water than it does in salt water. And so it's just a fun little video challenge that would create a lot of thought. And then finally, I found this really interesting cartoon, which sort of talks about the myth of Archimedes being in the bathtub, having to try to figure out what the density, or whether this gold crown made for a king was made of gold or not. And so the story always goes that he's going in to take a bath, and as he sits into this bath, the water rises up over the tub, and he shouts "Eureka!" because he figured out a way to figure out the density of essentially the volume of this crown. And so this is actually really interesting. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know what's true, but this one sort of talks about it really being a boat and sort of says this is the true story. So I just thought it was a kind of a fun extension that again connects to sort of this concept of density that some kids might be able to relate to. So this was my thing. I actually like eLink a lot in terms of how it curates the information and presents it. This was a little bit of a challenge in terms of getting the formatting right in PowerSchool Learning, and I actually don't know how it would look should it comes out for students. I had to sort of drag and resize this, and so that was kind of problematic. As you can see, that's a little bit problematic. What are the next steps? Well, so I guess the next steps are really sort of trying to figure out where are the moments in my 8th grade curriculum where I might be able to provide this student choice and this student agency and use these concepts of playlists. The other thing that I was really interested in was this concept of hyperdocs. So I actually did at first try to create this hyperdoc lesson, but I just didn't like the way the format was and the way it was going to play out and the way the menu choices were. So I decided not to do that for this particular activity. This is again, so I guess that's it. I'd love to know what you think of this and how you like this. And I guess I'm fairly pleased with how this came out. I think this could be a really interesting thing. I was debating about, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was I was debating about like sort of how do I keep the time frame the same and what did I want them to get out of this. And so what I asked them to do is collect evidence of their learning, which is essentially notes, or in the case of the lab would be the lab write-up, and then they would be turning that in sort of as proof that they've done it. Anyways, so the follow-up then I think of this would be some kind of formative assessment to see did they really understand kind of the pieces that I wanted them to understand. So that's it. Now I got to figure out how to turn this video off.